So when I went to high school, people found out that I was homeschooled. They were like, oh, you were homeschooled? But you're like, normal. And I think this is a common misconception a lot of people have about homeschoolers. The stereotype is that homeschoolers are shy, reserved, really eccentric and weird, or like some kind of aliens or something, I don't know. And I think people rarely realize the advantages that homeschoolers not only give to expressing their personality, but also to the aspect of education quality. As a homeschool child myself, I feel that I'm very knowledgeable about the subject. However, I also went to private school and then I'm in public school right now, so I have a well-rounded opinion and I'm not going to give you something biased information. I would like to explain to you the benefits of homeschooling. Though there are many to choose from, today I'm going to talk about the reasons why homeschooling is a great educational system, because of its specificity to the child's needs, its flexibility in curriculum, as well as the effect it has on life skills and experiences. I want to show you guys a video about some of the misconceptions of homeschoolers.
So I'm in college now. Before that, I was homeschooled. I did all my school in my house. My mom was the teacher and my dad was the principal. And I know what you're thinking. Homeschooled? So does that mean you were a genius or an idiot? Have you ever been outside? Were you locked up in a basement? Did you take yourself to prom in the living room? Yeah, well that explains your outfit. People were constantly asking me why I didn't go to regular school. Like I was some kind of leper. Obviously there's a lot of misconceptions about how homeschooling works. So here are the top 7 lies about homeschooling debunked. Number 7, homeschoolers are really sheltered. People think that homeschoolers know nothing about pop culture at all. They think they've never heard of Lady Gaga or the coolest latest movies. But think about how nice that sounds. Living in a world where you don't know who Lady Gaga is. That sounds like But it's not even just pop culture. People think that if a homeschooler stepped outside their front door, they would get completely pulverized by the real world. Well, you know what? If being shielded from sex, drugs, and alcohol when I was in middle school makes me sheltered, then yes, I was sheltered. But that doesn't mean I was like...
Finding Nemo? Son, what if I told you about watching PG-rated movies? Now go grab your Bible, we're going to Awana.
Oh, and speaking of that, number 6, all homeschoolers go to church 7 days a week. Hi, I am accepting Jesus Christ into my heart. Are you a Christian? Yeah. Oh, this is joyous news. Do you want to come to my church on Sunday?
I'm busy, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's no problem.
I'm going to skip ahead because the video is kind of long and I don't have a lot of time. It's really funny though.
Come on, this is just insulting. That's like saying that you don't have clean clothes just because you don't go to a laundromat to wash them. Number 4, it's impossible for homeschoolers to have friends. People seem to think that homeschoolers are completely isolated from the outside world. They hear homeschool and they think that you live on a farm, or the wilderness, or in a log cabin. Just anywhere that's an hour away from a Walmart. They think that if they asked a homeschooler who their friends are, the homeschooler would say, my siblings are my bestest friends. They're all I need. And while this may be true in select cases, the vast majority of homeschoolers have just as many friends as you do. They just have to go and actively seek out friendships. Number 3, homeschoolers are really shy. Hey, I heard you were homeschooled.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Pretty cool. Do you like it?
Yeah.
We're not all like that. Like I said, homeschoolers have to actively seek out friendships. So they're forced to come out of their shell more than other kids. And sure, there are shy homeschoolers, but there's also shy public schoolers too. What's their excuse? There's nothing wrong with being shy anyways. Number 2, and this is the dumbest one of them all. Wait for it. Homeschoolers have no lives. Let me get this straight. You spend 8 hours a day in a specific classroom at a specific time, every day? And I'm the one that's missing out on life experiences? Heck no! I got up at 6 in the morning so I could get all my school done so I could make a tire swing outside. My life is awesome. While you're sitting in class, I'm outside building a fort with the neighbors. Yeah, they're homeschooled too. Number 1, homeschoolers do school in their pajamas. But this isn't so much a lie as it is a reality. And it is the very best thing about being homeschooled. So the next time you run into a homeschooler, don't ask them if they have any friends. Just say, please take me with you!
So yes, hopefully that cleared your mind of all your misconceptions of homeschooling. Homeschooling allows for the parent to teach and guide the child in a way that is customized to them. Susanna Schaefer, she's editor of a homeschooling magazine called Growing Without Schooling. Her quote says, "I believe that even if people never actually homeschool, they can benefit from the homeschooling idea. It's a way of looking at learning. You start to realize that learning is something you can find and create for yourself. Then your whole way of looking at what's available changes." I think homeschooling is a way to change the learning process for each child. Let's say if a child is having trouble in one area, you can hold them back in that specific, like if it's math or something, or if they're excelling in a subject, you can move ahead and you can skip what they already know. Isabel Shaw is a homeschool blogger, and she writes that not that the basics and more aren't covered, but what may be covered at age 6 for one child could be covered at age 10 for another, depending on the ability, maturity, and interest level. You're able to use all different kinds of learning types as well: auditory, visual, tactile, and kinesthetic. And this flexibility is also shown throughout curriculum and the time spent doing school. Curriculum can be changed and molded. Even the time spent doing school is flexible and easily maintained. Tabitha Abbott, she now attends the University of Maryland, but she was homeschooled, and she said, "I was never pushed faster or slower than I wanted, and I felt that all that I learned was important to my instructors. I was given a strong sense of self and was never made to feel dumb." Homeschooling has so many options as far as curriculum methods. There's online classes, there's charter schools, independent or group studies. I personally went to CHEP, which stands for Charter Home Education Program, and they had classes that you could take once a week or twice a week if you needed. They had tutoring, they had art classes, they had dance classes. So it wasn't just my parents teaching me, you had other influences, the people with higher education than my parents. You can get done in 2 hours what it takes schoolers to get done in 6. So this is great for when you want to take vacation or go on field trips, or even just the busy lives of everybody. Homeschooling doesn't just help your learning skills, but also your life skills. The main attraction of homeschooling is that it is a more normal process for learning from the real world, from people who care about you. An example of this is just everyday daily tasks. You get to go to the grocery store with your mom and learn about shopping, or like learning different tasks that that other people don't necessarily get to do, such as like leaving a tip or washing dishes, like that sort of thing. And then you are given mixed opinions, and you have an open mind to the child as they watch and learn from people of all ages around them. Larry Caseman, a director of Wisconsin Parents Association, says that homeschoolers actually prefer their social life because they don't have the cliques and snobbery. They have a broader range of friends of all ages and types, and are able to relate well with other people, just than like people their age. Homeschooling also creates a sense of responsibility and individuality. I've talked about homeschooling and how it's beneficial to child's self-esteem and personality, their different learning capabilities, and the difference it can have on their life into adulthood. I would hope that you guys have learned about homeschooling and perhaps have changed your own opinions or biases, that the stereotypes that have been presented to you.
Really? That was like right up the street from my school.
Oh, really?
Wait, was that high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like right around. I went to Whittier High School.
Sharon, we moved you into this spot, right? Okay. Tell us what you thought.
For critical ideas and pieces, I got 2 of them. The benefits of homeschool, or were you trying to define debunk the stereotypes of homeschool. As you kept going, I noticed there was benefits of homeschool. Two things about the speech that are strong points. That I like how you were saying like that you were attending, like the parents can attend to the individual's needs. Like that's a great point. I love that you said that. And that they can change, like if the student needs help in math, that they can like change that their curriculum to the individual student. I thought that was really a great strong point. Two things that you can improve on. When you said how do you, like you said you can do 2 hours versus 6 hours, but I didn't feel like you said how. Like I was like, okay, how do you do that? Like maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on that. And then your example of like going shopping and tipping, like oh I can go shopping and learn about shopping or learn about how to tip. I would take that out and use something completely different example because you could still do that. And then like what you said, normal people. I would try not to say normal people, and especially because when you said it and then like that's not what I meant. I feel like it just made you seem like that's what I'm thinking, but that's not what I'm saying. Like I would have like if you do accidentally slip, like I would play it off like some other way, not the way you did it. Facts and visual aids. I loved the video, it was funny, but I felt like you were just killing time. Like I would have liked maybe you quote the video instead of you actually showing us the whole part of the video that you did, because I felt like you were just like killing time. Although it was funny and great, and I'm really glad you showed it. But for the educational purposes or whatever, quote it. Maybe show your favorite part of the video, not so much in like 2 parts of the video. Overall reaction to speech, I'm really glad you chose this subject because I always had questions about it, and I've always wanted to know. So when you're like homeschool, I'm like, okay, yeah, it really caught my attention. I really want to know about it. It was a good speech. I would just work on like a few little things that I like. Good job.
All right. I think Sharon picked out a lot of the things that I was going to say too. I think we all picked up on, and you picked up on it also, like normal people. Well, I didn't mean it that way. Yeah, I think that does kind of affect your ethos a little bit, the way you come across in terms of credibility. I thought you did a good job building credibility at the beginning. Look, it's a personal experience that you've got. You've got comparative experiences that you can use to talk about this. And I think we could have used a few more of those personal kinds of examples. For instance, you could talk about, the period of time that you were in homeschool, what the age group was, for instance, I don't know, middle school, let's say, in the 5th grade or 6th grade or 7th grade, I learned about math. And it would, we'd spend an hour talking about math, but that would be an hour for 2 days or 3 days, and I would understand the concept, I'd practice it, that sort of thing. Boy, when I was taking math in high school, we spent an hour, and the reason you have to spend 5 hours a week is because for 2 hours of that 5 hours, you are passing out papers, turning in homework, going through administrative procedures, checking off this sort of thing, having to tell kids in the class to shut up and pay attention, and all that kind of stuff. And the reason that we could get it done in an hour or an hour and a half is because it's just me. It doesn't take that long to do all of those kinds of things. If I had a question, I could ask the question. I didn't have to wait for 3 other people to ask a question that I already understood, And if there wasn't something I understood, we could get to it immediately, and I didn't have to wait for all those kind. Give us some of those kinds of examples and experiences that I think would make it a little bit more personal. I know what Sharon's talking about the video. The video is very entertaining. The guy obviously has a fun way of expressing himself. He's very avuncular and out there and having a good time, and that's great. And you want to get some credit. You want to get that in there because you identify with those sorts of things. I don't know, quoting the video is a good idea, but editing would be a really good idea because you're showing way too much of it. And I think you could actually get in those 7 things that he's talking about in there, but just get one joke for each of them. But you'd have to edit it You know, and that would be like 7 tube chop clips that you'd be that you would have to be putting in, each one, you know, maybe 15 or 20 seconds in length. It's still a lot of time, but basically you ran 3 minutes worth of video during your speech, and that kind of takes you out of the speech. It turns it over to the video, and I think that's problematic. Plus you're having to try and edit it while you're giving the speech, which I think is a little bit problematic. I did think that you had a lot of research in the presentation. You cited your sources very consistently on those kinds of things. I was looking immediately, I looked at the bibliography, the works cited. I was looking for a source site for the video because I got to send that to my friends who did the homeschooling for their kids, 5 kids, and they're all, you know, I went through that whole thing, and I'm sure that they would appreciate seeing that. So, but I didn't see the link here. Is it in here somewhere?
It's not actually.
It's not. What's the name of it?
Why Me Cow, Messy Mondays.
Why Me, Cal, Messy,
And then just 7 lies about homeschoolers.
7 lies. I'll find it. Little search thing. Yeah, that's okay. All right. Thank you very much.